Hello, this is Franklin McMahon from MediaArtist.com, and we're going to talk about photos and adding some drama into our photography. You can find me over at the Creative Cow Photography Forum, so check that out. We can discuss some of these techniques. You might hear a little thunder in the background too, because we wanted some drama for this. So anyway, a lot of us take pictures and we do photographs. A lot of us have digital cameras, and we use them for our multimedia presentations, DVD authoring, lots and lots of uses. And often we try to take photos and make them look perfect. We want to tweak them so they look good. This will be a little bit of steps that you can take to make them look dramatic as opposed to looking perfect, because you want to, just like filmmaking or any other creative endeavor, you want to add a little drama to it. Now, drama could be as simple as tweaking the levels and adding a filter. Now I'm going to actually go to adjustments and levels. Very easy way to adjust the levels is to move the sliders like that, so it kind of matches up the white and the blacks and the grays in between. Now there's in Photoshop CS2 there's an actual filter called Photo Filter. Now as you can see, this immediately puts on a warming filter, which already gives a little different mood. Now, depending on what you want to convey, if you want something that's really warm and inviting, you could add a warming filter. If you wanted something that's a little colder or a little cooler, you could add a cooling filter like that. You can actually adjust the density. The luminosity is actually preserved, because if we didn't have that on, it would be just a straight tint. And I'm going to move this up so you can see. See, we're almost overlaying the blue on it. But since we're keeping the luminosity, it adds a nice feel to it. So depending on what you're going for, the photo filter might be a good option. But let's cancel out of that, and we're going to revert back. Okay, here's our original photo. This is a photo I took of Amanda, and I wanted to do something with it to make it a little more dramatic. Something that it's a nice shot, but it needs, it just needs to be punched up a little bit. So let's go back to adjustments and levels. Now, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do another extra step here. I'm going to go through some of these different tools that you can utilize. Now, sometimes you want to blow out the background, and you can do that by picking the white point tool right there and clicking on the white, and that'll pretty much blow it out. And you can go as harsh and direct as you want to. That's pretty harsh and direct, depending on where you click, depending on the tone of the grayscale that you're clicking on. Okay, we just reset that. Now another thing you can do after you adjust the levels is to adjust via channel. Now we're going to actually go to the red channel. Now this level histogram is actually going to be altered when I move this, but we're only moving the red channel. We're only adjusting that. So already you can see it's kind of a different dramatic look, and we can actually go to the green channel and adjust it like so. And already we're seeing, this is a good way to emulate cross-processing. Cross-processing used to be a very laborious task when you're doing film processing, and it looks really cool, especially if you're doing stock photography. Well, this is an easy way to do it in a very, very, simple few steps. So let's go over to blue, and we can further kind of tweak that. And now we're getting a little bit of a colder. We can actually crush some of the output levels by moving these, and you'll see what that does in a second. Kind of gives it a little different feel, almost, now we're getting sort of a 60s feel. This could be like an old faded photo or something. So let me move this out of the way so you can see. There it is. Very cool. So again, a lot of cool things you can do. Let's exit out of this and hit cancel. And actually, let me adjust the levels. I'm going to show you a few more tricks so it's nice and sharp. Now sometimes you want a glow. You want a nice soft glow. Now you may be heading for the filter section. A lot of us, go into the filters and start messing around. Try to do some of the techniques and levels and color stuff that I'm showing you, because it can actually preserve a lot of the integrity of the photo, whereas filters are sometimes kind of destructive. They kind of chip away and can knock down a lot of your content and pixels. We're going to actually copy this, and we're going to go to the background, and we're going to do a very simple blur, because we want to be a little destructive with this. There we go. Just a very simple blur, like so. Now we're going to check the opacity here and just bring that down a little bit. Okay. And finally, we're going to take the foreground and we're going to just sharpen it. Just a real basic sharpen. So as you can see, we've taken the photo, split it into two, blurred it, and combined it, just to give it a soft feel. You know, something that's not quite as harsh. You might want something a little more moody or romantic or what have you. Let me go back again. We're going to go back to revert. Adjust the levels, tweak them right there. Another thing you can try as far as blurring is the channels. A lot of you spend time in the layers, but bop on over to the channels because you'll soon see you can do some pretty cool stuff by blurring just one of the channels. Let me go back. So again, that's pretty funky, pretty different. You can actually, oh, there goes that dramatic thunder going on outside. You can really go crazy with some of this stuff. Let's go back to, okay, now we're going just way, way crazy. All right, let me revert back out of this. Okay, and we're back to here. Now, another thing you may want to try, just to finally adjust the levels here, is use some of the different modes in Photoshop. I can actually adjust both of these here. And turn that off. Now I'm going to turn this one off. We're just going to actually just alter that. So say we did the adjustments like we did before, and we added some cross-processing feel to it. Just a little bit here. Okay. Give it a very cold, greenish hue to it. Now what we're going to do now is turn on both copies. So we have the original, and then we have the one that we emulated the cross-processing. And now we're just going to skip through some of the modes. I'm actually going to click on this, and I'm actually hitting the arrow keys on my keyboard to kind of just throttle through these. Now, some of them will be very dramatic, some of them won't. You know, some of them, you know, if it's too much, like for example this color burn, you can always just drop the opacity down. There we go. And drop it back up too if you want. But really, spend some time with the different modes. You'll see that you'll get some very surprising results. Some will be not what you expected. There's a nice kind of a blown out feel to it. And there we go. Actually, I like that pretty well right there. So again, the main mission is to take a photo and not necessarily, you know, sharpen it, adjust the level so it's really perfect, but really play around with it and do some, you know, emulate some cross-processing, play with some of the color modes, use some blurs, and really try to add some drama to it. I mean, this photo is now much more dramatic and much more theatrical than what we originally started with, which was, I'll just revert and check that out. See, very, very basic shot, and but we want to add a little drama. So experiment and have fun.